Next, March 12th, 2024. One of the most interesting shows that we did, the murder of Lacey Peterson, and the LA Innocence Project appeal that was filed on Scott Peterson's behalf. So recently, Judge Elizabeth Hill, San Mateo County judge, ruled on the request made by the LA Innocence Project. And I think, Mark, if I'm remembering the request correctly, there was about a dozen or so pieces of evidence. The defense team wanted additional DNA testing done because they said of advances in technology and DNA testing, et cetera. They recovered some DNA from different pieces of evidence, but they weren't able to actually create a profile, right? That would enable them to match it against other DNA. And they said now with new technology, they may actually be able to do that. It didn't go the LA Innocence Project's way. So I think the judge did allow or will allow one piece of evidence to be retested, and that was a piece of duct tape found with Lacey Peterson's body. Actually, I think it was on her clothing.
Yes, on her pants.
A 15, yeah, right, on her pants, yeah, a 15-inch piece. It was tested 10 or 11 years ago, and kind of, as I said, DNA was recovered, but no profile could be created at that time. They feel they may be able to do that now, but Judge Hill agreed with prosecutors in denying testing of the mattress and 12 other items. And to remind people about the mattress, maybe I had this wrong or I misunderstood. I thought so. This was a mattress that was found in the back of a van that had been set on fire. And my recollection, the way I thought the story was there was a gas can on top of the mattress, and that prevented the mattress material under the gas can from actually burning. And I thought there was I thought it was kind of agreed upon that there was a blood stain on the mattress and that they were going to get it tested for DNA. Well, it turns out that there was a factual finding years ago, I guess 2019, that there actually was no blood stain on the mattress. And that's one of the main reasons why the judge denied testing of that mattress. And I don't know, I think a little bit, people may have thought that was the quote smoking gun that was going to get Scott Peterson.
No pun intended on the smoking, the burning mattress. You know,
right? Your thoughts on this?
My thoughts on this one is I applaud this judge, and here's the reason I applaud this judge is that it's very narrow. It's one of the 14 pieces of evidence that they wanted admitted, re-examined, things like this. Some DNA, some other physical evidence. And speaking of the physical evidence, they wanted some type of evidence reviewed from the burglary that happened across the street from Peterson's home. I think it was the day before, something like this. And the judge said no. And the reason I applaud this judge is because she is not going to allow this defense team or any defense team, or I think for that matter, any prosecution to go on a fishing expedition. This is not the way that the judicial system is supposed to work. There has to be something concrete. There has to be something substantial. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but I spent a lot of time in the courtroom, and I've written a lot of investigations, and I've actually recommended charges being filed. And when I wrote those recommendations for charges being filed in any given number of crimes, I had to lay out exactly why I believe that charges should be filed in this case. And a lot of times on the very heavy cases, you'd get calls or you'd get letters or you get phone calls or emails from a potential prosecutor say, hey, listen, Officer Garrett, Highway Patrol, we need more than this. And that's exactly what we need more than this before we go to a grand jury or before we go to a felony prelim. We need more than this to bring our case. And that's exactly the way it's supposed to be. So I applaud the judge in this case, keeping it very narrow. And again, in this case, putting the responsibility here on the defense at this point, because the person's already been found guilty, Scott Peterson. It's their responsibility to bring the court and say, hey, here's why this evidence should be brought in and tested. And to my understanding, they've not done that.
Yeah, and just to close it out with this, the judge ruled that the mattress did not show signs of blood when it was tested in 2019. She also rejected testing for a hammer and a work glove recovered from a burglary near the Peterson home, as well as the contents of a Target bag found near Lacey Peterson's body and a black tarp.